I'm here with Stacy Julian, who is an absolute expert when it comes to making scrapbooking accessible, simple, easy, all those good things. And Stacy, you brought some treasures with you.
I did, and it's so fun to be here with you, Julie. So I want you to stop right there and look at that elephant. So when I was a little girl, anytime we had pancakes or breakfast, anything that needed syrup, the syrup always went in the elephant.
Nice.
So it just holds a lot of memories for me. And I wanted to make an album, a theme album, that documents and kind of celebrates all, 10, not all of my treasures, but 10 of my personal treasures, tells the stories behind them so that no one will throw this stuff away, right?
I think that's a great
Let's
idea.
be honest, don't throw that away.
True.
That's important to me.
Things that have sentimental value, and I often think it's the objects in our lives, that are so fabulous. And I know you're working on, it's a small format album, right? What size is this?
This is an 8x8 album.
Okay.
They're readily available, and I just love it because it's not overwhelming.
But this doesn't look like a page to me.
That is not yet done. So let me have you come over here. And then what I'm trying to do is give each page its own personality.
Okay.
So this page should look like the syrup elephant, and this page should look like the little trophy. But I want there to be a feeling of continuity throughout the whole album, and there's a really easy way to do that, to make that happen.
Do tell.
Something that I call a recipe, okay? It's not unlike when you're in the kitchen. Mine doesn't look very fancy, it's just hand-drawn, but I sit in my studio and I say, okay, to make this whole thing come together and look good, I'm gonna use the same products on every page. Different colors, different shapes, different types, but the same product. So for example, all of my pages is going to have a definition or verse that I pull out of this dictionary that I got at the...
That's easy enough. So it doesn't even have to be a traditional scrapbooking supply.
Not
it can just
at
be
all.
anything that
More
you want.
Fun. Yeah, and I want a little piece of memorabilia, so I've pulled like the recipe off the cornbread, which my mom would put the syrup on. This little treasure actually came out of a Cracker Jack box.
What a great idea.
My dad's littlest brother got it and gave it to his mom, and then she gave it to me, right?
That's so
Isn't that just so fun?
sweet.
So, definition, memorabilia, a little envelope that I can tuck some information into, these fun little wood veneers.
Like somebody who didn't know your family stories might not understand how this cornbread recipe related to the elephant, but you're going to be able to tell them that, and then they'll never throw it away.
Yes, that's exactly the point. So a little bit of information in the envelope, and then what I've done, you can see that I'm going to circle punch the top of every page. Once they're in the album, I will tuck a longer story behind. Does that make sense? So it's easy to pull out.
Yeah, that's interesting. And you know what? When your elephant picture's on Antiques Roadshow, it'll have its provenance.
Exactly, right?
Able to show the documentation.
Exactly
so that's cool.
right.
So you've used a circle punch, but only half the circle punch.
And it just creates a little tab, so it makes it easier. It's right at the top of the page protector, pulls out, easy read. So that's the recipe, and then this is where it gets really fun, because what's the color that you think of when you think of personal treasures?
Gold, I guess, right?
That
Pirate's booty.
That was the right answer. So to tie the whole thing together, I have a selection of gold products. So once each page is built, then I go and I find a couple of these gold words to add, okay, to each page. These are sequins, and I'm sure that people know that.
Right,
but did you know that, you just pull them off, and I drop them in my little cup there.
I have lost sequins by accident, but I've never actually purposely pulled them off. But that's a great idea. It's a great way to get sequins exactly the color that you want.
Exactly. And then look, there's actually gold thread, and so I just stitch little sequins on, and then I can take
gold paint there.
That's one of my favorite things to do.
Yes.
Because then at the very end, I just take my little sponge brush, dip it in gold paint, and you can see I just paint around the edges.
So I have a question. When you paint the edges, do you paint it down against the table, or do you hold it up?
Totally hold it up like this, and I'm so into like practicing imperfection.
Okay.
I just don't even worry about it. It just goes all the way around the page.
That's very cool. So I want to talk about the rest of your recipe just for a second, because would you mind going down the recipe and then showing us exactly how that coordinates with what you have here?
Yes. So the 1 or 2 photos. So I've got a small and a big photo, the definition or verse, and so for this one I looked up syrup. Okay.
Oh, and you just circled it like with a pencil or something.
Yeah, this one is Cracker Jack. And then the memorabilia is, again, the recipe that I cut off the side of the box and the little Cracker Jack pieces, the little envelope here, and this is not, it's a different kind of envelope, but again, hidden journaling.
It's interesting because, again, you've used that circular shape that sort of ties it all together.
You are a designer. See, I know this. It's so for fun. Pattern paper, and that's really where I had fun, is I took each of my photos over to my pattern paper stash, and I picked 2 or 3 patterns that I felt were just the same personality, or kind of supported that treasure and how I feel about it.
Did you use the same pattern paper only on 2 spreads and not like across all of them?
That's correct. Every page has its own, but then it's all tied in at the end. Do you want to see?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the cover page of my album, and again, it has the gold, which just introduces the whole concept. But there is a little piece of pattern paper from every treasure.
That
in
is
the
so
album.
cool. And I know that when I first looked at this, I thought this was printed paper, but you showed me how you piece it together.
Yeah.
And we are going to show you exactly how to do that later in this episode. So I don't want to get to that. So let's finish with the formula.
Okay, all right. But I just love that piece of it. You know,
Me
that
too.
introduces the whole thing. And then there's here, these pages have very different personality, but they're all tied together with the gold. So I think we left off on the recipe. So the pattern paper, these wood veneer pieces are so popular.
By the way, I noticed you say ×3. Does that mean that you always have 3 different kinds of pattern paper?
Yeah, 2 or 3. But yeah, 3.
Okay.
So I like, you know, just kind of a larger scale pattern, and then some kind of an organic that has either scripted or something. That's not always the case. And then just kind of a smaller piece.
That's interesting because I see it again down here. You have the larger print, the smaller print, and then something bright and colorful that pops that.
Kind of
That's
bold.
really
Yep.
nice.
Yep.
Very
and
cool.
really, so they're very similar. They're laid out very similar, but I love that they look different, so it's not super predictable.
Yeah, and you get to take advantage and maximize your scrapping time. You don't have to think too hard. You're assembling and using your creativity in different ways.
That's the other super cool tip. Just look right
Yes.
over there, because this album is not done, okay? It's in progress, but as you flip through those page protectors, I have followed my recipe. In each page protector, you'll see a photo of a treasure and then all of these items. But this is the kind of scrapbooking, like if you're gonna go to a crop or just spend time, if you can have it prepped to this degree, you can be so productive and enjoy the company that you're with and actually get something done.
Very easy. And I noticed not only do you have the gold on here, but you also have the circle punch, which we talked about,
Yep.
and then the washi tape.
Washi tape,
Me
I love
too.
washi tape. So yeah, just little bits of washi at the end. You know, I just stick them wherever they fit.
Very easy. Stacey,
So-
this has been so fantastic. A great idea. And you know, I can't wait to put together my own kits to make something fabulous. I hope that you will create a treasure album for your family's treasures too.